by the way, she'll like it too.
Get your compliment.
How about now? Hey, how about the mute button turned on, huh? How about that? Guys, come on. That was obviously just a bit that I was doing this entire time just because I'm a hilarious personality and I love to pull hilarious pranks, like not knowing that his fucking microphone is muted. All right, there we go. Okay, so I got a lot of negativity out of the way while I was muted, which was very nice and very good for the algorithm because there was a lot of swearing and a lot of frustration. I love Brian Thomas Jr., great player, going to be here for a long time. But if he could just fuck off for a little bit and let Evan Ingram get mixed into the mold, that would be great. I can't even believe I have to say that about JaMychal Hasty. I'm hot today, guys. I'm way hotter than I want to be. My co-host should be here momentarily, but I did want to not leave the show hanging. I can get to some start sits. We can do dating advice. I can tell you what costumes are the sluttiest for Halloween. I can tell you, let's talk about rules of the grocery store, trade advice, waiver wire. I can do all of that too, but it's Sunday morning, guys. We're going to have some fun. I'm getting super caffeinated. I'm going to watch this Jaguars team just absolutely let me down in a way that I did not think was even remotely possible playing against the New England Patriots. I'm looking over right now, and it is just, I just can't catch a break here. So if you guys could distract me while we wait for the Fantasy Gazette to get here, if you've got anything I can help you with. Otherwise, I can just start talking about some fun stuff. We are in the Nugenix Pepsi Shoney studio, brought to you by the NFL. So now that we've got the sponsorships out of the way, let's put the NFL hat on here, and let's get to the actual only sponsor that matters. You know them as just the absolute brand of all brands. They're the premium name in fantasy football and NFL entertainment and coverage. Let's give Player Profiler our shout out here.
Oh, the NFL season is underway, and if you drafted on Fast Draft this summer, the Origins All-Rookie Game, the Flex 4 Game, check the live scoring, see where you are in the standings. You might be in line for a big payday. And no matter where you are in the world, you should have the Fast Draft app because there's a custom Dynasty mock tool that's free to everybody with super sharp ADPs, and we're rolling out DFS tournaments throughout the year, and the 2025 tournaments will go live before any of us realize, oh my God, the 2025 season is upon us. Download Fast Draft, register, and you will be alerted as soon as these new contests are unleashed. Check it out on fastdraft.app.
Check it out. They are absolutely crushing it over there. This is also, this is something I need to mix in a little bit more. The show is under the Dynasty DGens channel. Dynasty DGens absolutely crushing it as well. Here we go. Let's talk about some start sits so that way I can get my act together. You guys keep me straight. You guys keep me narrow. That's not a sexual thing. That is purely talking about the pathway right there. Although we can get into some sexual stuff if you would like. Drew wants to know. Let's shout out Drew real quick here because Drew's one of the GOATs. He said, we're on a generational Twitter run. Guys, my dopamine levels are never going to fully recover from the last week that I just had. It was pretty insane. And I'm happy to have you all along for the ride because this means nothing if I don't have you guys in the chat bringing me back to life. So Tyrone Tracy or Bucky Irving full PPR. Look, guys, I'm wearing the Bucks logo. I've got the Bucks on underneath right here. I've got Raj back behind me. I had a private conversation with him last night. I would not trust this Buccaneers rushing attack for 1 second. I would not trust it any more than I would trust, an ex who was a whore. You just don't want to go down those alleyways. Like what we're seeing out of Tyrone Tracy. Kind of like a sneaky matchup against the Eagles too. I think it's going to be a closer game. Giants defense putting the clamps on a little bit. So as far as like Bucky's involvement, great play going forward, great long-term prospect. But with Sean Tucker looking like the greatest running back in the history of the NFL after Mike Allstott and Rashad White probably coming back and playing an annoying pass catching role. I'm probably rolling with Tracy there. I also just want to shout everybody out here. Look at this. Look at the people that are showing up initially in the show to tell me I'm muted. You know what this is? This is a thirsty audience. You guys wanted the good stuff and I wasn't giving it to you. And I apologize for the letdown. It will happen again. That's just kind of baked into my DNA. So don't worry. I will continue to get some of that good stuff going. It's Sunday morning on another fantasy show.
You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility.
We have a responsibility to get to start shits in the chat, and one of which I have to know how many times in 2024 am I going to say what year is it? What year is it? Juju Smith-Schuster, wide receiver, Kansas City Chiefs, going up against the 49ers, or Nick Chubb, my personal favorite running back of the last several years. Man after my own heart, man who's coming back, a man who has probably about as little competition in the running back room as anybody in the league. Jerome Ford has been an uber disappointment in my eyes. Foreman has been that guy. How he's not that guy that he's been, where he comes in for 6 weeks, scores 6 touchdowns, and has 3 RB1 finishes. How he hasn't been that with the Browns is beyond me. I'm going to go with Chubb here, and I'm going to say it's my bleeding heart. Chubb is probably not the play when you compare what Juju's doing, who's doing an excellent Rashee Rice impersonation, going up against a pretty sliceable 49ers secondary, Mahomes coming off the bye week, all that momentum, right? I say all that to say, fuck that. Give me Nick Chubb. Give me the return game. Monitor it closely. See if there's any stupid shit that's going to be said as we go into the games. But man, you didn't draft Nick Chubb and have him just crushing your IR spot, your out spot, your physically unable to perform spot, just to not play him when he comes back. It's just not, and he's going up against the Bengals. Who wouldn't want to play the Bengals? I would want to play the Bengals. Craig, what's up here? JT out, Jalen Warren, Sean Tucker, Ty Chandler. Craig, I respect you. I respect that you have all these guys. You certainly have a type. You like those kind of, you're like the break glass in case of emergency player. You're hoarding all these guys who, if they just get the right moment, if the right dominoes fall, you could be looking at an RB1. I love it. If you're talking about today in particular, oh man, Jalen Warren's going up against you guys all saw what the Bills did to the Jets. I mean, they pushed them around like clowns. They were shoving them in lockers on the reg. Already talked about Sean Tucker a little bit. I don't love the three-headed monster there in Tampa. And Ty Chandler, who I actually think probably has the highest upside of all these guys. Depending on the Aaron Jones usage, he's got a pretty tough matchup going up against the Lions. But I just love what they're doing in Minnesota. They've had an extra week to prepare for this game. I'd probably rip a shot, and the first name that comes to your head after the shot is done, go with that guy. And that guy will probably be Ty Chandler. All right. I'm not sure if the Gazette's going to make it today. I haven't heard back from them, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rip through some of my segment picks, and I'm going to continue to get to the start sits in the chat as we're rocking those as well. And, if you guys have any insults, roasts, things you want to point out, if you get breaking news, I'm not really on Twitter or anything while this is going on. So if you have some breaking news for me, I would love for you to hook a brother up. That would be very nice. I'm not quite as hungover this morning as I typically am when I do these shows. So I'm feeling frisky. I'm feeling pretty fresh. We might even see a little backwards hat, although that means Raj is going to be pissed because we won't be getting the logo. But that's neither here nor there. All right, let's get into some segment picks here, because I really know that you guys don't come for me. You don't come for the analysis. You come because I have the best videos on the internet, and I will continue to not let you down on that front. Let's get to our wild card dogs of the week.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that.
They're eating the dogs. They are eating the pets. Don't snack on me. All right, my long shot wild card running back of the week is going to be Miami running back Raheem Mostert, right? Who's firing up Raheem Mostert this week? If you are, I love you. I want to be at your wedding if you haven't had it already. It's been 10 weeks of football dating back to last season since Raheem Mostert scored a touchdown. Shitty run defense against the Colts. Shitty passing offense for the Miami Dolphins. His wife was going off on social media the last 2 weeks, which, as we all know, is a huge player bump. Marriage, if a guy gets married that same year, he usually has a pretty shitty season. That's not an indictment on marriage. That's an indictment on a low caliber individual who's not locked in. We like guys who are locked in. Raheem Mostert's wife is keeping him super locked in, and we like every single second of that. They can't do anything else in Miami until Tua comes back. They have to run the ball. Mostert has a nice game in his first real action back. I think he went 10 for 80 yards, just missing out on that touchdown, which is really all we need. Oh, Pete, I might have to get you back on the show because I think Gazette goes, he's not going to show up today. So if you're around, I might freelance you back in and hit you with an invite. So if anybody's game to come talk me off the ledge, I'd absolutely love it, even just for a little bit. Let's get to, so Raheem Mostert, our wild card long shot running back of the week. What about our wide receiver? Oh yeah, Pete's going to hop in here. Let's get Pete in here, folks, because he's going to be able to bring that kind of stabilizing force that somebody like me needs. I'm like a dog chasing cars right now. So I'm going to get our boy back in the show here, who absolutely crushed it last week. He went 7 for 9 on picks, absolutely thrown out. His start sits in the chat. We're absolutely crushing it too. And that's just the kind of vibe that I like to have around here. I don't like to bring on guys that don't know their shit. And very few people know their shit better than our boy Pete. So he's going to be popping on here. So while he's coming and join us, I will get to my wide receiver of the week. And that's going to be Calvin Ridley. Somebody in the chat tell me if they're playing Calvin Ridley this week so I don't feel like an absolute, piece of shit after the performance that we've seen from the last several weeks here. Here's why, okay? Change at quarterback. Mason Rudolph. Big stuff, right? Could make me change my pants at halftime if this goes as well as I hope that it might. You don't get guys coming out of the locker room or coming into the locker room when the game's over and saying shit like they need to throw my ass the ball more, and they don't throw him more the next game. That's just not how the NFL works. You don't pay a guy $90 million and then not throw him the ball when he blasts you in the locker room after the game. So I like that. Mason Rudolph, the last time we saw him play the Bills, he carved them up in the playoff game with the Steelers. The Steelers don't carve anybody up anymore. So maybe there's some magic here. Maybe there's a little bit of fun that could be happening. It sucks for Will Levis because he's the most fun quarterback in the league to watch for the wrong reasons. But bring in some. I need some juice. I'm losing passing offenses left and right here. We've already got half the league. I don't even want to watch them throw the ball. They're not even capable of throwing the ball. So hopefully we can get one more back in the mix here. Calvin Ridley may get some good garbage time. Has Calvin Ridley been spotted at a Diddy party? Does Uber or Lyft have tracks of him leaving Diddy parties? Or is he like all these other NFL athletes that decide they're okay, they're sober enough to drive? All right, so let's see here. That's going to be my running back. That's going to be my wide receiver. Let's get to our wild card, tight end, and quarterback of the week.
No, I'm saying, no, the brakes. Guys, why aren't the brakes working?
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah!
And just in time to save the day, as I put the wild card long shot of the week, is our boy, Pete Nova. As Pete gets dressed there, as he puts his clothes back on, he's coming fresh off the heels of his wonderful show. I will go ahead and dust off mine, and I will dust off my tight end right now. Isaiah Likely. I spent $100 on Isaiah Likely. So if he doesn't go off this week, I'm probably going to walk my fat ass into oncoming traffic. The Ravens don't really have any other choice here, right? They're playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do you do when you're playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? You don't run the ball. Ravens run first team, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, Justice Hill. Say whatever you do, whatever you want. That's not going to work. You throw the fucking ball, all right? And you throw the ball deep down the field. Buccaneers 29th ranked passing defense, giving up the most long plays to tight ends, playing in Tampa, which is just, guys aren't going to be getting hit after the game. Tampa Bay fans do not walk around Tampa Bay and throw sucker punches at players or at guys just walking down the street. It's just not how they do things. So there's going to be a nice, fun, cultivating environment. There he is. Give it a round. Let's get up for Pete, ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on? Sorry, I had some technical difficulties there for a second, but
this is come on, you're watching this mess unfold. This show is hashtag technical difficulties right now.
Oh, I get it. I get it. You need some more coffee. Did you get your coffee in this morning or?
I am going for it right now. I got my dad mug, got my dad energy. I'm pretty. It's gonna be bad by the end of the show. My eyes are gonna be vibrating. Pete, how are we doing this morning, my man?
I'm good, man. I'd be better if this game in London was a little bit better. Drake May looked hot off the start, and then I don't know what's going on with this play calling, but I'm feeling good. Yeah, feeling all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I was worried that that the Fantasy Gazette might have been arrested, dead, sex trafficked. Who knows what it might have been? But it turns out that he just thought it was Central Time and we're on Eastern. So he should be joining us here in just a little bit. But
Cool.
let's talk a little fantasy. Let's talk a little fun here. So I went over three guys for my long shots this week. I'd love your opinion on them. Raheem Mostert, Calvin Ridley, Isaiah Likely. Am I in complete denial here about what's going to be going down, or is there some fun to be had?
I think Mostert's a really nice play. I mean, A-Chain, a lot of people like him this week, but this Colts run defense isn't great, and I don't think Calvin Ridley's a bad start at all. I mean, I can't start him in good faith because of how much he's burned me, but I think it's positive uncertainty, it's uncertain, but it's positive when we have Mason Rudolph starting. So
of course, there's always I love the pendulum swings of the pendulum doesn't swing any further than 8 targets and 0 catches. It cannot. It is mathematically impossible for it to get any worse than that. Now that being said, that could be the kiss of death and it could fuck it over pretty good. But that's just, I don't know. I also don't have a ton of options. I mean, you're comparing that to guys like Jalen Waddle, who knows what's going to be going on there. Amari Cooper, new team. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff that you already weren't feeling good about, but it's how much do I have to convince myself that any of these guys are good plays? Craig wants to know, last one, Downs or Cooper? It was a Downs-a-palooza on our show last week, and we were absolutely rewarded for our faith. It was comeuppance across the board. How do you like here?
I like Downs. Cooper goes up against the Titans. They're number 1 against the wide receiver position. So I don't love Downs this week, but at the same time, when Richardson was healthy for the limited time that Downs and him were on the same field together this year, did look Downs' way. So I prefer Downs this week.
I like that too. I just don't feel like there's not a level of trust and vision that I have in Amari Cooper sliding right in and bringing a caliber of impact to this offense off of the bat. It was already kind of, every play it felt like they were just winging it. So I don't know. Amari Cooper, he's a consummate pro, fantastic wide receiver. I just don't, I don't think he's versatile enough to come in and solve immediate problems. It's going to take time. So I love Downs. So
Sure.
That's a nice, easy one. Would you guys start Geno, Goff, or Rich? This is a fun one because you could talk me into all of these guys being hardcore no's, and yet they're all 3 of the 7 most high ceiling passers we have if Anthony Richardson gets his head out of his ass. Who do you like here?
I love Geno. I happen to like Jared Goff too.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that you can do against Minnesota, it's throw the football. But Geno, for what it's worth, Geno's been using his legs a little bit. I mean, he's got 3 games.
Scrambling.
3 games of over 30 rushing yards. He had 72 against the Giants. And I mean, their secondary's beat up. So I feel like there's a chance this ends up being a high scoring game. And if that's the case, I could see them throwing the ball a lot. So I'd go Geno here. I like him today.
Yeah, you got to look at, it's sad that, the Anthony Richardson, not just the injury, but the draft capital is just there's a lot of murkiness there. It's an okay matchup, but I mean, who knows? It's going to be pick and pop with this guy. And then the other two have I don't know, 38 to 41 potential for both of those games. I mean, the Falcons are not going to play in a low scoring game for the rest of the year. And probably the Lions won't either. I do love this best offensive coordinator in the league and Ben Johnson going up against the best defensive coordinator in the league and Brian Flores. I think there's a lot of fun that could be had there. I don't know. I'll probably recommend Geno with you just because I like that to be just a no holds barred slugfest. That feels like a good good wagon to hitch ourselves to.
Yeah.
Brandon wants to know also, good morning, Brandon. Good to have you. Trade away Devonta Smith for Josh Jacobs. I have Metcalf, Amon-Ra, Waddle, and Smith. I need an RB. That's a tricky one because I almost wonder if you want to trade away one of the other guys as opposed to Smith.
Yeah, I mean Waddle's value is suppressed right now. So you're kind of selling him at a low.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do Smith for Jacobs. I mean Jacobs is like RB. He's like a mid to high RB2 at best.
Yes.
Like he's not catching a ton of passes,
Mm.
and I think Smith is the guy that I'd want in that deal. I don't know how bad your running backs are. I would do like Smith for Montgomery. Like I prefer that, but
punch
not,
up.
Yeah, not for Jacobs.
Yeah, there's just seems to be a Jacobs is getting he's getting about the high value touches we wanted, but he's just not getting the scrimmage yards, the overall scrimmage yards that we had envisioned the RB1 in this offense really getting. And it's shitty because no one else is either. It's not like he's losing. He's ceding ground to some of these other running backs. It's going to take an injury for somebody to overtake him as the guy there. But I just think you can punch up more for the guys that you have, because you're talking about, top 10 wide receivers on any given week, especially when Tua comes back. Hopefully Waddle can be in that range. And like you said, selling pretty low. George wants to know Ayuk or Mason half PPR. This is actually great because I have Mason coming up later in a segment pick. He's actually going to be my nervous play of the week because these shoulder injuries are the most surprisingly limiting injury for a running back for anything outside of like maybe their ankle or just something that's ripped them straight out of the game. That being said, Ayuk is turning into one of the worst picks of the year so far, and he gets a brutal matchup against his KC secondary. Who do you have more faith in here?
Yeah, Mason. I don't want to start Ayuk at all.
Sorry,
Mason gets a tough matchup too, but I can't trust Ayuk in this spot against this defense right now.
Yeah, it's a tough look. Everybody else is active, which is not good for everybody else. And this is a revenge game for the 49ers for the obvious reasons, but I mean, I don't know. I've got like a nagging feeling that the 49ers are going to blow the Chiefs out, and that doesn't make any sense. Shouldn't happen on paper. It's not logical in any way. I just kind of like, that's what I'm reading the tea leaves right now, and I just think there could be some potential in there. Do you like this game?
Yeah, the Chiefs are the underdogs. I mean, they're going on the road. Andy Reid, is the best coach in history coming off of a bye. So yeah. I lean Chiefs, but I do think it's going to be close.
Yeah, it would be. I feel like if the Chiefs pull this out in any meaningful way, it's a body bag for this crop of the 49ers regime. If they just can't get over this hump, I mean, this is a very beatable Chiefs team. They're great. They're always going to be around, but I mean, take advantage of it while you can. Alfredo wants to know, good morning, guys. Would you start Mason? We got a lot of Mason talk already. Would you talk Mason or Isaac Grendo? I'm worried about him being limited. Yes, we are very worried about him being limited. I also have Vidal. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Vidal is my high testosterone play of the week. I love him. I adore him. I want to be with him. But starting him over Mason might be a little tricky, even though he does have an amazing matchup against one of the worst defenses I've seen in a long time in the Arizona Cardinals. I'm definitely taking Mason over Isaac. Are you taking Mason over Vidal?
Yeah,
okay.
I am. I'm not comfortable yet. We like Vidal, but I'm not comfortable starting him over Mason just yet. I feel like I'm going to sneeze, so I'm just like, I'm like in the middle.
Bring some excitement, bring some punch. The thing with Mason is that his time is limited as far as how much impact he's going to have. So we might be trying to stretch out his value as long as we can, because that's going to depend on if you have CMC, if you don't. It's going to be a funky. I also like the Chargers passing attack this day. And while that might bode well for a pass catching back, I actually like the receivers and their tight ends that go off a little bit more. So that feels like a pretty good way to play that. Walker or Deontay. Also, good morning, Mario. Love the name Mario. Always have. Walker just cleared to play for sure. Last minute potential in sickness. I don't know what was going on. Today's his birthday, potential birthday game. as opposed to Deontay Johnson, who Deontay has a juicy matchup. Don't get me wrong. We love what could be going on in that Washington game, but I think Walker is probably the play here. Where's your heartland?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Walker. I do like Deontay a lot.
Big inhale though. Big
inhale. Walker, in Atlanta, the strip clubs are pretty popping down there. Birthday, you know what I mean? Maybe he had a little bit of a tummy ache and
Oh, so he was suffering from some southern hospitality, is what you're saying?
Yeah, a little bit, a little too much. I don't know if they have gumbo down in Atlanta. I'm sure they do. It's close enough to. I don't know. You might know. You might know.
They get it flown in. They get it flown in for sure. There's no doubt about it. Also, breaking news: Travis Etienne has more points than he did last week, so that's impressive.
Nice
for a guy not playing.
That's big. That is big. And Doug Peterson, they were ready to put the handcuffs on him and escort him out of the building, but I guess he's turning the corner.
Do they handcuff in London? What do they do over there? I know because they've got all kinds of funky stuff they do backwards. I'm curious what the official arrest policy is for the British.
I think they just beat the shit out of you with batons.
Yeah, the bobbies. The bobbies still rolling around. George has got another one for us. Chase Brown or McConkey half PPR. That's a fun one. Half PPR, they're going up against the Browns. Browns have been they've still been decent against the run despite being an absolute dog shit of a team overall. So I'll probably take Chase Brown there. However, I do like McConkey a lot this week. So you definitely can't go wrong, but give me Chase.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. McConkey has a decent matchup, but it's half PPR. And big playability not really there with him. And then for the second part, I would take Monty over Amari pretty comfortably as well.
Sure. Yep, that feels pretty good. Monty is, man, you better be bringing some big dogs if you want us to pick Monty, or you want us to pick them over Monty, because he's on an absolute tear, and I'm feeling great about it every second. Mario's got another one. Goodson, Vidal, or Sean Tucker. Damn. All right, now we're getting into some fun ones. I'm going to say I started off the show with, a little soliloquy on the Sean Tucker thing's coming. I just don't think it's coming yet. So that leaves me personally with Goodson or Vidal. I got a decent amount of Goodson this week. Jonathan Taylor out, Trey Sermon limited, both physically and in his just ability to play football. I hope that they are going to be wise and limit Anthony Richardson's vulnerabilities today. And Goodson has looked like he's had some pops. So I'm probably going to go Goodson there, even though I love Vidal. What about you?
Yeah, I go Goodson as well. Trey Sermon stinks. So enough said. Trey Sermon stinks.
Yeah. This is what I say when people ask me if I should play Trey Sermon.
Shut the fuck up, okay? Shut the fuck up.
I got to get my clips back in the mix here. We're just freestyling right now, and it's very good and it's very great entertainment. But I forgot that's what people show up for, is for the good stuff. So Zane wants to know if Deontay sits, Vidal or Warren half PPR. I'll take Vidal in this one. I finally get to pick him, and I finally get to pick him and feel good. Najee Harris screwed us last week. All we did was shit on him on this show. We dumped on him. He was our trade him of the week, our bench him of the week. He was every start sit in the chat. We didn't pick him, and he gets the luckiest touchdown. And by lucky, I mean he ran through like 4 guys, but still, it shouldn't have happened. Should have tackled him. We would have been looking better.
Yeah, if Deontay sits, I'm starting Vidal over Warren. Warren injured, not injured, and hasn't really shown us much yet. So
it's one of those things where it's like it's in the realm of possibility that Warren will eventually become the Warren that we were expecting him to be, but there's just so many variables between new quarterback play, new pieces on the offense. The team doesn't know what the hell they're doing. I don't know. It's just a mishmash. So I'll take Vidal there. Dane. Good morning, Dane. I've missed you. I've needed you. What's up, guys? Full PPR, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jordan Mason, or JSN. Now, this one is really going to depend entirely on how you guys are feeling about Marvin Harrison Jr. I feel pretty good about him. I could understand, the rookie inconsistency, concussion, all that stuff. I'm going to throw all that away. I just like a target hog kind of game for him. Chargers defense has played well, but they're playing above their talent level. I'm hoping that a talented player like Marvin Harrison Jr. can kind of break through that mold. Where you land under this Devil's threesome?
Yeah, I go Marv. Yep, banking on the talent. I think JSN is in line for a solid day. I think Mason gets the most volume, but I go Marv.
We got to shout out Drew here. Drew, I might have been on a great Twitter run, but Drew's on a generational comment run right now. He said, Mario, your team sounds like absolute dog shit. Mario, you don't have to take that. You can fire back. Go get in here and defend your team, defend your boys here, because we got to know what's going on. Look, I got teams where I'm starting all of those guys, and it's not by choice, I assure you. That's just where
I'm starting Noah Brown in one league. I mean,
I love that though. I love the Noah Brown pick. I mean, you're talking about, can't you just close your eyes and envision a 50-yarder down the sidelines?
Would you start him over Josh Downs?
Oh God, why are you doing this to me? I can't say stupid shit like I could see Brown catching a 50-yard touchdown and then come back and say, but I would also start Josh Downs with Anthony Richardson. Although I'll take Downs.
Yeah, so would I. Painfully.
Yeah. Painfully so. All right, what else we got here? Because you guys are laying them. We're trying to knock them down for you. Full PPR, 6-point passing touchdown. Kyler Murray or Andy Dalton. Wow. Is that not where we're at this year or what? And then flex, Goodson, Sermon, Bateman. Waz, this is an absolute. I don't feel good after this one. I might be getting sick. I'm going to let you take this one, Pete. I'll back you up.
Yeah. Kyler, I'm benching him. I mean, I have Baker starting over him, so it could be worse.
Sure.
Andy Dalton against Washington. I'm still going to go with Kyler here. I just worry with Washington. They control the ball long, and so maybe time of possession for Dalton isn't as high, and so it limits him. But they should be playing in a game script where he's going to throw the ball because they're probably going to play from behind, but I'll still stick with Kyler here.
I got you. Yeah, I'm going to go with Kyler too. I just think that there's, the Kyler stuff has been tricky, but they've had so much plug and play. I mean, they've got guys in and out of the lineup. Like they're rotating injuries, they're rotating linemen. There just hasn't been a lot of consistency, and Kyler hasn't rushed a ton. But in these games where he's rushing 5, 6, 7 attempts, other than last week when Green Bay just shut him down, those are the games that he's actually giving you some juice, which is all you wanted from him when you drafted him. So I'll go Kyler there as well. And then I will go with Bateman in a shootout in Tampa. Feels good.
Yeah, I'll go Bateman too.
All right. In a watershed moment in another fantasy show history, we're going to throw our boy in here. And that way you guys can say what's up to each other. You guys know him as just one of the premier philosophers in the fantasy football industry, a headline master, an article maven. Here's the boy, our Fantasy Gazette. What is happening?
Chuck, what's going on? I want to thank you for having me on. I was some numbers this morning, putting in some of my start sit requests, some of my favorite analysts this morning. I have not heard back from Josh Larkey on that, but I will get to you when he responds back.
The Lark Master is ghosting us? What happened?
I don't know. I've been mass entering start sits in the Twitter replies. Have not heard back yet, but he's my top guy. So when I hear back, we're going to be ready to go this morning.
That's fantastic. I love hearing it. I love the enthusiasm. I love the confidence. I love you, and I've missed you. And we got to give Pete some love here for stepping up to the plate. I thought you died. I thought you overdosed. I thought you might have been arrested. I wasn't quite sure, but here we are making history.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's truly an honor to be here. So yeah, we're going to have a great week 7. I can feel it.
I got it. All right. Well, let's get one more. Let's get a 3-way start sit in here, and then we'll thank Pete so much for stepping up and being our ringer of the day. Aaron Jones, David Montgomery. You know it had to be one more David Montgomery for you, Pete, before we got out. Is Aaron Jones that guy to make you say no?
Nah, I like Monty. I love watching that boy run, man. He's those big, thick legs, man, wobbling around, just running people over. He's got the juice. So
thick thighs, no felonies. He's absolute premium stuff. What about you, my guy, Mr. Fantasy Gazette? Aaron Jones or David Montgomery?
Great question here. Aaron Jones is coming off a bit of an injury. I'm not sure if I can fully trust that. He's getting a little old. He's 29. We don't see a lot of success at 29 for a lot of running backs. I'm going to go David Montgomery based on age.
Absolutely. We know that once running backs hit that 23, 24 cliff, they're borderline useless. And I think David Montgomery, what is he, like 19 or 20? So he still should be rocking pretty good. He's still got a few good years ahead of him.
Absolutely. He might as well be.
Yeah. Pete, you're the man. Fantasy Football Face Off. Tell the good people where they can find you again and what you got coming up, because you've been a legend.
Yeah, Supernova on X, 2Rs38. So Super 2Rs Nova 38. And yeah, Face Off Sports Network. Follow us on Twitter, YouTube. And I'm sure I'll be back at some point, but happy to fill in. And you guys enjoy the rest of the show.
All right. You're the man. Get it, Pete.
All right, later, guys.
Okay, now that we got that third wheel out of here, we can finally get back down to business.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
So you're the man, and I love you, and I'm very happy to have you on the show. So let's get to some segment picks. All right, I embarrassingly stumbled through mine on mute in a way that will probably lose me some subscribers, but it's going to gain me some confidence in my ability to fuck things up. Let's talk about our long shots of the week. All right, and that gives me another opportunity to play my favorite video. Let's get to your long shots, wild cards, plays of the week.
No, I'm saying no brakes. Guys, why aren't the brakes working?
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah!
Yee-ha, baby. I love yours. Absolute splash play. So a lot of people's running back play of the week. Tell me about your long shot.
Absolutely. My running back play of the week this week is Cam Akers of the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I'm looking at some roster updates for this Sunday. Notice that Detroit Lions star edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson is out. Now, if we crunch some numbers, if we go back to the last time the Lions did not have Aiden Hutchinson, much worse on defense. I like Cam Akers based on that stat.
I like that as well. I'm pretty sure Cam Akers is fully healed from yeast infection. What was it? He had something, right? Didn't he have something going on?
Yeah, it was something gross. Something gross.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah,
it was gross.
Yeah.
Something he needed antibiotics for, I'm pretty sure. All right. Well, I love that. He's got a cupcake matchup against the Detroit Lions, so that's fantastic. Looks like you're kind of staying in the same ballpark here with your wide receiver. Tell me about your wide receiver long shot.
I am. My wide receiver long shot this week is Washington Commanders wide receiver Luke McCaffrey.
Yes.
Savvy fantasy analysts like myself, Chuck, I know that you're like this as well. You're looking at matchups, right? I just mentioned Cam Akers against the Lions.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at psyche. I'm looking at what's going on in the mind, right? I'm looking at revenge games. And we'll get to some of these later. I'm looking at Luke McCaffrey taking on the Carolina Panthers. Chuck, if you're telling me Luke McCaffrey doesn't have a little bit of anger against the Carolina Panthers in the back of his mind for failing his older brother Christian at the beginning of his career, you're telling me he doesn't have a little bit more juice against Carolina? I'm sorry, you're out of your gourd. Luke McCaffrey's going off today against Carolina. He's absolutely furious at the way that franchise treated his blood relative.
Is this the second cousin revenge to the revenge game? To the where like it's the avenge game. This is a Luke McCaffrey avenge game. I hadn't thought about this angle. This is interesting. So you're projecting him what? Maybe like 150 yards and 2 touchdowns?
150 yards and 2 touchdowns. We're going to split some of that up on the ground. Give me about 50 of that on the ground. I think he wants to show Carolina, hey, this is what the McCaffrey bloodline run like when you treat us correctly. And he's going to go in at that angle. So give me at least 50 rushing. Give me at least 100 receiving. He might not even need 10 touches to get it done, Chuck. This guy's going to go in, and he's out for blood. And I mean that pun intended. Other analysts that don't see it this way, I'm sorry, they're behind.
They're behind the 8 ball, and they're going to get lost in the shuffle, and history will remember us for being on the right side. Luke McCaffrey averaging a 66% snap share when he plays teams that start with a C. So that's pretty good. There's a lot of momentum going this way, and I like where we're at. Let's break this up here a little bit because we've got some start sits in the chat. Big homie 4523, Cotton or Kincaid and Dell or McLaurin half PPR. Okay, is that Cotton from Dodgeball? Is my first guess. That's the first place. Cotton O'Leary. It's the first guess I want to go there.
Correct. I don't think you have anyone else you can say that is.
Yeah, I can't even think of not even one. Kincaid. I don't think I ever want to watch Dalton Kincaid play football again. Tank Dell could be back. McLaurin, that kind of steps on our kind of steps on our Luke McCaffrey soliloquy that we just punched off. So I think I got to go with the guy who's recovering from pretty serious gun wound injury, Tank Dell.
Yeah, I like Tank Dell. I like gunshot wound recovery narratives. So Cotton or so let me wrap my head around this big homie 4523. Cotton or Kincaid and Dell or McLaurin. So we have two options here.
The caffeine is getting to me. It's happening already. Yeah, it appears so.
Yeah.
So give.
Give me Kincaid. Give me Kincaid over the announcer from Dodgeball, and then give me Tank Dell over the brand of car.
Bold.
Yeah,
you're feeling emboldened.
Give me that
on this day. You're feeling very much emboldened. I'll tell you what. This is how it makes me feel.
The fucking man. Holy shit! I'm gonna come.
That's how it feels, baby. That's how we rock things around here. All right, we got one more, and then we can get to the rest of our wild cards. Ronaldo Rincon. That's a great name. You have absolute spice. I love every second of it. Josh Downs, Christian Watson, or Mooney. He's bringing a little bit of he likes guys who catch the ball here, guys who catch the ball here, and a guy that catches the ball here. So we got three little guys that can pick and pop here. Where does your heart fall?
I'm a numbers guy. As an analyst, you must be a numbers guy. Josh Downs, he's small. Okay. I'm over 6 feet tall. I'm bigger than that guy. Christian Watson, good size dude. He's big receivers. I like big receivers. Small corners are scared of him. Darnell Mooney, I think he's 6 foot or under. Hate the small guys. I want the big guy. I want the athlete. I want the alpha male. Give me Christian Watson.
Yeah, we're talking height supremacists here. Yes. Enough of these chain movers. I'm tired of these guys just catching the ball, skimpering around a little bit, maybe a little spin, and then they just run out of bounds or they get tackled. I want guys that you put the fear of God into cornerbacks. And nobody, I mean, Christian Watson has played more snaps than any wide receiver over the last 3 years. So he's got a long track record of really going to town on these young quarterbacks.
Absolutely. If he's, fault Christian Watson, if you will, for missing snaps, it's because he's a mountain of a man. When he plays, he's in your lineup. He's a huge guy. I like huge guys.
We love huge guys around here. Love them. Ruckus wants to know, half PPR, Bucky, Tracy, Grando, thanks. That's a sentence. And I'm going to have to process it a little bit. Talking a little Bucky Irving, I've noticed that Bucky is basically the big, do I play this guy or do I not play him this week? Three-headed monster stuff. Ravens defense stuff, Hurricane just hit Tampa stuff. There's all kinds of crazy which ways we can go about this. Tracy's got the momentum. Isaac is looking to be just a backup. Look, you're a numbers guy. You're a vibes guy. You're a height guy. What do we do here?
This is a tough one. I like Garendo. He's massive. He's fast. You got that right combo that you want. I like Tyrone Tracy. He's had a great couple of weeks. Where my heart goes, this is a post that we put out on Fantasy Gazette this past week. Irving. Let's look at this Tampa backfield. Rashad White had control of it. He lost it over the last couple of weeks. I don't care if he got injured or not. He lost it. He's done. When a running back has a bad game, you move on. We posed the question on Fantasy Gazette if Rashad White should be assassinated. It's a fair question to ask. I think Bucky's ready to step in up there. We analysts, we know this. We study the game. We know Dynasty. We know trends. When a running back loses his position, he's donezo. Now, Devin Singletary might have done that as well. So Tracy, I think, is a decent play here. But I got to go Bucky Irving because Rashad White has fallen the most from grace. That leaves more room for Bucky. It's fine.
Now, my question there is, are assassinations always gunshots, or are there other ways that we could go about this to make it a little bit easier to swallow for your casual fan?
Unfortunately, Rashad White does play in the state of Florida. The state of Florida has very lax laws on things like how you want to assassinate somebody.
It's true.
I'm a little too afraid to mention it on camera. I don't know what rating you've given this show. I didn't see the previous clip you played.
5 stars.
I'm going to assume we're at that level.
Love it.
I'm a little too scared to even say what the state of Florida might do to Rashad White.
That's fair enough, because I'm not scared to play our next clip. We've got a new video for the show when there's a touchdown in the morning games, and we're not going to get a whole lot of them. So KJ Osborne. Touchdown.
Ric Flair would love you. Wow!
God, that feels good. It's good to have the Grudemeister back.
That's good. That's good, Chuck.
It is good. All right, let's get back to some more segment picks here. Now, you have got, wow, Couple of M bombs for us when it comes to your tight end and your quarterback. So I'll tell you, what are you doing? What are you doing with this tight end in a year-long shot?
I'm disappointed in you, Chuck. I saw it on the show sheet. You've got Isaiah Likely as the wild card / underdog long shot of the week. I'm going with this
Big
team.
guy.
I'm going with Mark Andrews. I'm going with Mark Andrews. You asked me for somebody with a low projection that could go. I'm looking at a guy like Mark Andrews, a forgotten, long-time veteran of this league who has completely trailed off a cliff. Now, who cares what led to that? He's injured. I don't care. He's old. I don't care. He sucks now. But I'm looking at box scores. He had a good last week, right? I think the defenses key in on the much better Isaiah Likely. I think they key in on the much better Charlie Kolar. Mark Andrews is going to slip past that defense for a couple of long bombs today, and you heard it here first.
Is it possible to pass on a Tampa Bay defense? Is it possible? I didn't even think it was in the cards. Now, did I pick Isaiah Likely? Yeah, but that's because he's 6'4". It's not 6'5" like Mark Andrews, some lumbering jack.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Now you've got another M-bomb for us here at quarterback, a late addition to the slate, a man that has not let anybody down ever, not even one time. Tell us about him.
Absolutely. It's Mason Rudolph of the Tennessee Titans taking on the Buffalo Bills. Chuck, we have a lot of Gen Z Zoomers, possibly Gen Alpha. I don't even think they have a nickname yet. Gen A, Gen Zers. You guys weren't around for this. There was a little something called the Music City Miracle. Tennessee and Buffalo. Excuse me. Well, it was Houston at the time. So Buffalo and Houston. But that carries over to Tennessee. That game this matchup has so much emotional nuance to it for an entire city, for an entire fan base. You truly have no idea the depths that this matchup goes. I think that fires up Mason Rudolph in a spot start this week. I think he's cheap on DFS players. I'd slot him in right now. I'd slot him in. I'd do it. Mason Rudolph, he's cheap. And that matchup has so much historical context to it. You young guys, you have no idea. You weren't around, swear a thing, when that game was played. I'd wise up against Mason Rudolph.
No, these kids, they're drinking their Celsius. They're hitting their pussy pens. I don't know what's going on anymore. They don't care about what happened and what the precedent has been set as. And really, it's really quite frustrating. But you know what? That's how they miss out on opportunities.
Chuck, thank you for understanding.
I get it. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Now let's pick up our rebound play of the week. And I have got to have something for it here. Where are you, big guy? You know what? We're going to skip over that one until I sober up a little bit. We're going to go straight on to our I Could Kiss You on the Dick big week winner.
No, it is thick. Why don't we just take it?
I could kiss you on the.
All right, well, what?
I love it. I love every second of it. And I love yours because I can tell you've got a type. You love it. When you love it when a 6'5" fan wearing a Ravens jersey just cold cocks a couple commanders on the sidewalk. And I can tell that because of your picks. Tell us about your big league winner.
Alpha male energy. By the way, wonderful clip from Arrested Development, Chuck. I see you're a man of culture as well.
Class.
Absolutely great. Yeah, let's look at our I Could Kiss You on the Dick big week league winner. Give me Baltimore Ravens wide receiver Rashad Bateman.
Okay.
Big guy. Former first-round draft capital. You Dynasty players out there, you know what I'm talking about. These are the alpha males. The alpha. First-round draft capital. It's in his mind. I'm an alpha. I was drafted in the first round. And it's my time to shine against this Buccaneers pass defense. Now, I did highlight Mark Andrews earlier. I think he's kind of a sneaky play. Don't know if he's tight end one material yet. But Rashad Bateman's going to take advantage of that small, weak Buccaneers secondary as well. Give me Rashad Bateman.
I have to turn this inside out or something because I'm getting my boys are getting hosed left and right here.
Oh, let him out. What are you talking about?
You know what? Fuck it. You're right. Let's get some Buccaneers in the stadium here. Let's talk about it. Let's be proud. Let's be proud. 2-time Super Bowl winning champs. Some of the greatest coaches of all time. A historic field. Raymond James Stadium. They just known for great refreshments. So I guess I want to know when people are talking about the boys. I'm doing this with the boys. I'm going to go do that with the boys. What will the boys say? Is Rashad Bateman one of those boys?
Is Rashad Bateman one of those boys? Chuck, if your last name could have one letter removed and it's spelled Batman, I'm sorry, are you one of the chillest homies out there or what? No,
well, I did. I did the same thing with mine. I'd be Chuck Ass. And some people might not like that. I love it. I actually think it's an upgrade.
You get it. You get it. You get the vibes. That's what Rashad Bateman is. He knows he's him. He's been him since birth. He's that guy.
I love that. Just don't even have to do a gender reveal party because you know it's a him coming out. That's pretty hot. That's pretty sweet. You know what's a pretty sweet? You know what's a pretty sweet one too? Nicholas wants to know Jordan Whittington or Josh Downs. He loves the Jays. We've said it for years now. Nicholas is a big Jay guy. Loves that Jay energy. So are you going to go Jay Whittington or Jay Downs?
Jordan Whittington. Have we had word on Cooper Kupp's availability today?
I believe he was ruled out. I'd have to confirm. I think he had a bar mitzvah or something he had to get to.
Well, that begs the question whether or not Jordan Whittington is going to be in the Puka Nacua role or the Cooper Kupp role.
Sure.
So no Kupp, he's in the Cooper Kupp role. Give me Whittington.
I like it too. Why would you not take an opportunity at this very clear, defined, certain role that is easy to predict and easy to project? Let's go with Whittington as well. I'm with you on that one. It feels good. Let's get to, we're going to skip over some of my picks for today because I want to focus on the level of excitement, energy, passion, and vibe that you're bringing. So I did find that clip. So let's get to our Kenny Powers rebound of the week. I didn't find it. What the hell is wrong with me? Oh my God, you guys like dead airtime? I have us on the clip right now. What the hell happened to me? You know what? Let's just play this.
Fuck them kids. They don't know shit.
All right, there's no context there, but I love it anyways. Tell us about your rebound play of the week.
Give me Washington Commanders running back Brian Robinson. After he picks up the scraps from Luke McCaffrey, absolutely torching the Carolina Panthers every single down this week. We talked about this a little bit earlier with Tank Dell. Who knows how to recover better from a down week than a gunshot victim? Who knows? Tell me, who knows better? Nobody.
Burn
Brian
victim?
Robinson.
No, got to go gunshot. I think I'm with you. I think I got to go gunshot on that one.
Exactly. It's a close second would be cancer victims. I think James Conner knows how to come back.
Yeah,
Brian
adversity.
Robinson's in that camp too. So James Conner's a fine play this week as well. But Brian Robinson, he's been down before and he's been down worse. He bounces back easy.
Could it be said that Brian Robinson will always be rebounding in one way or another, and therefore it's like a perpetual rebound?
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Good. That's what I like to hear. And I did find the Kenny Powers clip, and for the faithful out there, I must play it.
Gabriel, hit me up with a shrimp. Are you out of your fucking mind, April?
That's what we're saying to people who are not playing Brian Robinson Jr. this week. We love a good junior around here. We're big on the junior vibes. We think it brings a level of burst, energy, and excitement to the fantasy football slate. Let's talk about the guys that we should be benching this week. Now, here's what I love about benching players is that you kind of want to bench everybody. How often do you look at your lineup and you're like, oh, I'm really excited to play this guy. He's going to be fun. He's going to be exciting to watch. The coaches are going to use him well. He's going to be on the field every single time. I wish he was. But you know what? We do the opposite around here. We want to be negative. We want to skew harshly. Let's talk about, I think you should leave him on your bench.
You haven't been to the board in a long time.
Yeah, I know, Colleen. This show's going to suck. We just got to figure out, what Chunky's deal is. Well, don't throw away the... Don't talk! The mouth on the thing doesn't move. It looks fake. That's a good idea. Dump it.
Now, you've got a controversial play here. You're going to have HIPAA's going to be breathing down your throat. The American Medical Association might be coming for you. People in Seattle are going to be, you might see CHOP 2.0. Tell us about your leave him on your bench.
Absolutely. Before I do, I think that previous clip you just played was a great example of what it looks like if you're at Saints practice and Kendre Miller just took a handoff. And Tim Robinson being Dennis Miller in that moment, I think we just saw a great glimpse there.
That's a chunky.
Yeah, in the chunky, yes. In the mode of backup running backs, though. Remember I said psyche matters to a player.
Sure.
Remember I said that analysts have to go a little bit deeper. He had this many carries. Shut up. Who cares? He had this many yards. Shut up. Who cares? If you're not paying attention to news, if you're not paying attention to the story behind the story, are you going to win your fantasy league? You can answer that.
Wow. You kind of just rocked my world, and I don't really know if I feel capable of delivering an answer to the people when you kind of just hit me over the head with a philosophical hammer. I'm going to go with no.
Okay. So now that we've had that lead in, let's go to the story behind the story.
Sure.
Kenneth Walker III. I'm not talking about Kenneth Walker,
the German three.
His grandfather. Kenneth Walker III. Sick. Added to the report late. Questionable tag. Chuck, it's also his birthday today. Did you know that? Possibly out a little bit late partying this weekend.
Sure.
Let's go ahead and assume the Seahawks are telling us the truth. Kenneth Walker III is sick this weekend. Who in that locker room do you think Kenneth Walker III is spreading the most germs to? Running back roommate Zach Charbonnet.
Oh, shit.
Shit.
It's not supposed to hurt. I thought. Ooh-wee.
That's a good look at Zach Charbonnet owners today. I'm leaving Zach Charbonnet on the bench. You're telling me germs don't spread? Kenneth Walker III, sick Friday? Zach Charbonnet just miraculously escapes whatever flu-like symptoms, whatever COVID-19 symptoms Walker brought into the locker room? No shot. No shot. You're going to chance that? No way. Charbonnet's not playing today.
Do we need to get the NFL involved? Because it sounds to me like they've slacked on their health protocols. They're no longer following policy. I got Raj right behind me right here. You know that Roger Goodell's number one concern is player safety, and really only player safety. So could this be a higher ups issue and the players are the ones that are suffering? Or is this really just Kenneth Walker, Southern hospitality takeover?
I have no idea what the answer to any of those questions is.
Smart.
What I do know is that I know what's going to happen behind the headline. We've already discussed it here. Charbonnet is not playing. Chuck, you're bringing up a great point. There's too many doubts. There's too many questions. If you're not asking yourself the right fear-based questions, your lineup will lose points.
Sure. Yep. The league might want to consider canceling this game because it looks like it's going to be an absolute shit show across the board. Blake wants to know thoughts on Aaron Jones today, trying to decide between Jones and Debo. I would just look at who has the more attractive wife and go with that one because they're both always banged up. They both basically play the same position, just with different, by different tags. So just look whoever's got a prettier wife and then go with that.
Absolutely. Blake, I'd like to chime in here and say I have absolutely no idea what the correct pick between these two is.
Smart, savvy. Chaiwan wants to know, what is this yapping? I'm offended. Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry?
What is this, a joke?
No, you son of a bitch. We're way past that at this point. I don't understand why you can't grasp that point.
They're not getting it, Fantasy Gazette. They're not getting it. But it's okay. That's what we're here. What's what we're here for? We're here to give it to them. Harold wants to know, fear-based questions. I like it. That's smart. That's what we tap into. Come on, guys. We all have access to the numbers. We all have access to the data, the clips, whatever. You've got to go with the balls. The balls are going to be what drives these walls. Christian Watson or Nick Chubb. Speaking of balls, I mean, turn around. Show the people what you're wearing. Manziel. Man, there's your answer, folks. I don't know what else you would need. I don't know what more. What do you want me to bust out EPA per play? No. He's wearing the Browns jersey.
I don't even know what that stands for.
Environmental Protection Advantage, something like that.
It might as well.
Might as well. All right, let's get to another fun one here. Oh, I love this one because you're going to have people, you want to talk about, stirring the pot. You want to talk about, pissing in the jacuzzi. You're going to talk about this next one here. This is going to be our nervous play of the week.
Who is it? Who is it, Michael? Who?
It's okay.
No. No. Oh my God! Oh my God! No!
Tell the people about it. Ooh.
Many of you are aware there's a bug in the brain of Amon-Ra St. Brown, Detroit Lions wide receiver. Something that bothers him every morning that he wakes up and stares into the reflection of the milk at the bottom of his cereal bowl. Every time that he brushes his teeth before bed and he looks back in that mirror, anytime he sees his reflection, he knows he was not good enough to be selected higher in the 2021 NFL Draft. Now, he memorized the list famously of wide receivers drafted before him. But I think there's more to it than that. I think his level, his sense of inferiority plagues him. So across the field from him, when he sees the higher paid, higher drafted, better looking, better dancer, Justin Jefferson, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown curls up into a ball of insecurity today. I don't think he's ready to perform in full. I don't think he's ready to perform at that level. He will be too in his head, too hardwired to his failures in the past to not be a fourth-round scrub. He will fail today purely based on his own pride and ego, failing to recognize that Justin Jefferson is better than him. And I am terrified to play Amon-Ra St. Brown today.
Do you think he cares too much about going viral?
He is a wide receiver.
True.
I'm not going to say that wide receivers aren't the most dramatic people that live on our planet.
It's tight ends, running backs, quarterbacks, and then wide receivers. But yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Cornerbacks, I don't know where they fit. Offense, defense, it doesn't translate.
Sure.
Is he worried too much about going viral? He may not be worried enough in his own mind. And that's the problem, Chuck. Do you see what I'm putting down here? Do you think your fans of another fantasy show understand the level of analysis that this game, that this industry requires? Do you think they're getting this?
This is a high IQ crowd. They all vote. They all drive manual. I've talked to every one of the listeners of this show personally about issues such as this. And they all do what you and I also do, is they follow the projections to a T. They let the projections be their guide. Amon-Ra St. Brown is projected to score his lowest total of the year against the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, what more faith, what more shining North Star do you need? I can't pick one.
That's enough for me. The numbers tell the story.
I love it. We've told the listeners to go with your gut, to listen to the numbers, to look at height, and to focus on insecurities. And I think that paints a nice snapshot of the fantasy football realm, as well as these players that we put so much faith in. Senior football, he needs some help. He didn't even say anything. He just said, help me. So that got my brain wondering, where is this going to go? But then he backed it up. He wants to know flex one in a non-PPR. Also like calling it non-PPR over standard. I think that's classy. Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, Devonta Smith. We've covered a couple of these guys already. We haven't touched on the guy that Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think, wishes he could be. The guy he looks up to is probably Devonta Smith. And so for those reasons, I'll have to pick him just to kind of piggyback off of that wonderful monologue you just gave. I'm going with Devonta Smith versus the Giants. What about you?
Yeah, I agree that calling it non-PPR is the right move, senior football. You've recognized that PPR is to be nonned, is to be antied, and should be normalized. So I want to praise you for that. We're here to help. We've got Aaron Jones versus the Lions. I've already spread my concern that he's 29 years old and could fall off a cliff at any moment. We have Jordan Mason versus the Chiefs. We have Devonta Smith versus the Giants. These are excellent questions here. Now, we have non-PPR that, for those of you that are not inundated, that is no points per reception.
Correct.
In that case, running backs are always better than wide receivers every single time.
Sure.
It is better always. And the flip side is true. PPR, wide receivers will always outscore running backs because the system is completely broken. Give me Jordan Mason.
So do you think that Kyle Shanahan could be considered a liar?
Kyle Shanahan may not be worthy of respect to even be spoken about.
You're a liar. You're a liar. You know something that you're not telling us, you slimy scumbag liar. Liar! Tell us what you know, you goddamn liar!
Sometimes a picture is worth what, like 50 words?
Minimum. I'd go as high as 100.
I like it. That's a nice even number. Let's get to a fun one here. This is a new addition to the program, so you're breaking ground. This has not been a category before. You're the very first to punt it off. This is going to be our high testosterone and she'll like it too play of the week.
By the way, she'll like it too.
Get your compliment.
Get your complimentary pick right now with the Fantasy Football Gazette. What do you got for us?
You asked about high testosterone. You asked about the pure fundamental thing that makes a man a man.
Biceps.
Please don't cancel me for that one. But let me talk to you about Mike Williams. Let me talk to you about his feeling about where he stands on the team. The Jets have made it aware that they're taking calls. Devontae Adams is now in town. So we've got Devontae Adams, Alan Lazard, Garrett Wilson, and Mike Williams in that order of talent and ability. So Mike Williams today is going to be ready to go out there and kill it. His career is on the line. His manhood, are you hearing me? His manhood is on the line. His testosterone is on the line. I will never see a man jump as high, land as hard on his neck for a catch in the back of the end zone as Mike Williams will today. And you can mark my words for that.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful stuff. It's poetry in motion. Mike Williams has been involved in trade rumors. Do you know who else was involved in trade rumors? Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan. So, I mean, is it the same? Probably not.
Chuck, you know all. It's not.
I do. And when you talk about fantasy football, you talk about all this shit that we think is going to happen. And then what happens? Mike Williams catches a 50-yard touchdown the week that they acquire Devontae Adams. There's the human body cannot handle any more testosterone than a Mike Williams touchdown. I love this play. I co-sign it. I might make it my play of the week, and I love every single second of it.
Thank you.
Now, what I don't love is guys who are on the waiver wire when they shouldn't be. What I don't love is wasted potential. What I don't love is bullshit. But what I do love is this commercial.
I cannot live another day without air conditioning.
Says tomorrow's gonna be hotter.
Hotter?
Like yesterday.
Yesterday? Yesterday you said you'd call Sears.
I'll call today.
You call now.
I'll call now.
Now's the time to save on Sears installed central air conditioning. Get zero.
Who should you call now to pick up off of the waiver before you have to fight for him on Monday?
His name actually starts with a lot of similar letters as the word call. Calvin Ridley. That was a stretch. I'm sorry I even tried that. But Calvin Ridley today. What has Calvin Ridley done this season, Chuck? A lot?
He's a target monster.
Yeah, he's a target monster. Overall stats in Calvin Ridley terms, he's hit the under.
Ooh.
This may be dropping his season-long projection.
Good.
What does Calvin Ridley want to do? He wants to make money on gambling apps. He wants to lower his season-long projection so that in the middle of the year it drops. Then he can bet on the over. Then he can succeed in the second half of the year when no one expects it. That's the key to a good bettor. They flip the script. We're talking psyche today, Chuck. You have to get into these players' minds. Calvin Ridley's ready to turn. It's going to happen at any moment.
Is he sandbagging? Are you telling me that he's in on the bit?
He's in on the bit, Chuck. He's in on it. He knows. He knows that we don't count on him anymore. And what happens when a savvy bettor realizes the market has soured on somebody? They take the over.
This is Ocean's 11 all over again.
It's going to flip. It's right there in front of you. But I'm the only one that can see it because I'm the only one that thinks this way.
So you're telling me that 150 yards and 2 touchdowns for Calvin Ridley today?
You keep coming back with 150, right? Luke McCaffrey hit about 150. I would say it doesn't even matter what he's going to hit. He's just going to do so well that you couldn't even have projected it on a sports book. So whatever the highest number that DraftKings will let you take on an alt prop line, I'm going above that.
Love it.
Thank you. So 160, 180, whatever it may be, over.
All right. Here's going to be
this week. Just do it again.
I've got a live feed of people who are going to fade that advice.
Go back to Treasure Island! Back!
You don't want to be that. There's nothing wrong in being covered in fluids, but you want it to be happening the right way.
I agree very much with what you've just said.
That's we're on a roll right now. I cannot believe we only have one more left, but you know what? This is going to go down in the chambers of fantasy football pregame show history. This is going to be our I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds anger trade or drop of the week.
I have contained my rage for as long as possible, but I shall unleash my fury upon you like the crashing of 1,000 waves! Begone, vile man! Begone from me! A starter car! This car is a finisher car! A transporter of gods! The golden god! I am untethered and my rage knows no bounds!
Tell us about him.
Devon Achane, Miami Dolphins running back. Miami Dolphins unpredictable, often injured, too small of a frame, 5'9", 188 pounds. Couldn't even get into the top tier of SEC schools when he was in college. Had to settle for Texas A&M. Mark my words, though, Texas A&M is not a problem. I've got the Manziel jersey on. It flipped after Manziel left. But A&M, weak. Devon Achane's muscle to body ratio, weak. He's small. Doesn't matter. You've been burned by him. Chuck, name me one player in NFL history that had a bad series of games and then went on to have a decent career at any point after.
Probably Gary Barnidge.
I'll allow a Browns reference as one of my two favorite teams, the Cleveland Browns. Oh, the Carolina Panthers. So Devon Achane needs traded. He needs dropped. The Miami Dolphins have become a joke. Tua Tagovailoa is not aware of what year it is. Devon Achane is going to suffer as a result. You haven't been happy starting him. Sure, week 1, week 2 went great. Move on. Let someone else deal with the headache. Give me a less up and down player. Give me a safer player. Give me a larger BMI player. Chuck, do you disagree?
So you're a Browns fan, you're a Panthers fan, and you're fading Devon Achane. Isn't there a simpler way to tell people that you're on antidepressants?
No.
All right. That feels good. Yeah, Achane, I mean, he plays for the Dolphins. He backs up Raheem Mostert. He's got an apostrophe in his first name, and he's a tiny dude. Those are the 4 horsemen of fades, and I'm thinking it might be time to get off of the train while the train's rolling.
Good point. Good point. Chuck?
I heard that. I wish I didn't hear that, but I just heard that.
I'm having to come to terms with some tough realities and some tough honesty on this show. You've made me think about things differently. I don't feel very good, and I think that's important. It's important for growth. It's important for personal gain, and it's how you toughen up, and you've allowed me to do that.
Thank you, Chuck. This guest appearance that I've had, now, mind you, this has been a little bit different for your audience to have somebody of such a high caliber of analysis.
Of course. We don't usually get big names like this.
This has been hard to do. But at the Fantasy Gazette, we are supposed to dive even deeper than the pool goes. We're supposed to drill even deeper than the heavy piece of machinery will allow, or the earth will allow to give. We have to go more. We have to go further. If you need a moment to recover from this, that's what happens when you get gazetted. That's what happens when this first goes in your mind. Yes. Fantasy analysts, I'm tired of them being soft and nice to each other. When you deliver takes, you're supposed to be so unbelievably arrogant that no one could ever dare question you out of fear of getting snapped at or laughed out of their own league.
Have you considered rebranding and calling yourselves the Gazette Labs?
It's from Gillette Labs.
Gillette Labs? I just might.
Okay, good. Maybe a spin-off show where we talk about, we peek behind the curtain and we see what makes the clock tick. How you guys are able to give 101% when other people are giving 100%. I'd be interested in that.
I don't know. It's just, I think just simply from being better.
Just being better. And you're born with that. You can't work for it. They can't teach it. But what they can do is answer Dalton Kincaid or Tucker Kraft for our boy Koakai here. This is basically comes down to, do you want a guy named Dalton or do you want a guy named Tucker? I mean, that's what this all boils down to at the very end. I know what I'm going to say, but I'm not going to say it until you say it. So let's hear it.
Chuck, you've nailed it. It's Tucker Kraft. Yeah. Is Dalton a tight end? No, I'm sorry. Dalton's an outfielder on your son's baseball team. Tucker is a tight end. Tucker grew up in the suburbs, but acts like he's from, a farm. Tucker has that tight end mentality of being able to do both, living in the suburbs, being a wide receiver, acting like he's from the farmland, being an O lineman. That's a name that does both. Tucker Kraft. He's a Kraft at being a Tucker. Do you understand? Tight end. It fits. It fits. Is what I'm saying making sense? No, but it doesn't have to. You feel it. He's the tenet of NFL players.
We want what people are pretending to be, not what they actually are, because it's all about the sizzle. It's not about the steak. I am 100% co-signing the Tucker talk is taking off. I'm all about that.
Yep.
Ronaldo said, coolest duo in the fantasy world. Wow. I mean, that means more. That might be printed off, and that might be going somewhere up around here, and I will credit you, Ronaldo, because that means a lot. No one wants to know. Let's get us out of here on this note. Pick two. Aaron Jones, who we've talked about. Marvin Harrison Jr., who we've talked about. Tank Dell, who we've talked about. I have Diggs locked in, half PPR. Look, everybody knows you end on a high note. You end on your biggest banger. Nobody likes it when the band comes out and they play their best song right off the gate. Everybody wants to go out feeling good, feeling hot, feeling spicy. Give no one that feeling. Who are you picking here?
Aaron Jones. Chuck, your followers have absolutely no idea what to do with Aaron Jones. To all of you out there that keep commenting the same person in your starts to decisions, what's he doing on your roster? Drop him. Trade him if it's that hard to slot him into your lineup. Marvin Harrison Jr. We've got the Nepo baby coming off a concussion. I like it a little bit. But do I love Tank Dell alongside Diggs, who's already in your lineup? I do. Chuck, I play a lot of best ball. Have you ever heard of stacking?
That's like a Pringles thing, right?
You fool. No. Stacking is when you put a lot of players from the same team on your fantasy lineup, and it always works. It's always what's called cool.
I think I've heard something like, this is like an expected value thing, right?
It's kind of, we're getting into some ACT, SAT type words in here. But go ahead and stack today. Go ahead and stack Stephon Diggs. Stack Tank Dell. Just put the Texans in your lineup. If you're that scared of the Texans, why do you roster two? Go all in. I want you to put Tank Dell in your lineup.
I mean, that analysis, it surprised me.
You do seriously surprise me.
Thank you, Chef. I was hoping you'd see that. I mean, I'd give it all I got. Give you 110.
You surprise me to how shit you are.
Oh, thank you.
I think that we've achieved podcasting heights previously unknown.
I think so.
You are the man. You're a legend. You're a trailblazer. You're an absolute rock star. I want you to tell the people where they can find you, what you have coming up, and your least favorite television show.
Wow, my least favorite television show. All right, I'll keep that in the back of my mind. You can find Fantasy Gazette at thefantasygazette.com. We've got articles coming out weekly. Incredible analysis in the world of fantasy football. On Twitter, I'm not calling it X, dude. It's Twitter. On Twitter, you can find us at Fantasy Gazette, followed by an underscore. We have incredible analysis coming out there every day. One of my unpaid interns this previous week published that the Jaguars had fired Doug Peterson's visor. Do you know what Doug Peterson was wearing today? Not a visor, a full hat. If you were aware of this, if you were reading our articles, you would have seen this today. You can look that up, by the way. That is verifiable. That is a verifiable fact that we scooped before anyone else in the entire league did. So I thank my unpaid intern, Dave, for his work there. But you can find us there on Twitter. You can find us there on the website. My least favorite television show. Wow. Do you normally answer this one too? Do you have one? I'm a little, I need like some inspiration.
Yeah. Price is Right. Hate it. Always hated it. It's basically a metaphor for the worst of capitalism and also the worst of communism. I don't like people just getting selected. I don't like dancers. I don't like all the bright colors. I think it's annoying. And I think it's a sham.
You know what? That's the perfect inspiration that I needed, Chuck. The Fantasy Gazette is to be the most trusted fantasy football site and account and whatever in the universe. That's what we do at the Gazette. We have to be in on things. We have to project even better than the people getting paid to project because we do this for free because we love the people.
Of course.
For that reason, my least favorite channel, I'm going to go channel here. My least favorite channel is the Weather Channel because all it does is remind me of these fraudulent, scam-filled fantasy analysts that think they have all the answers when really Fantasy Gazette does. we're the only ones that get it right consistently. So I watched the local meteorologist project what Thursday's weather is going to be like. And I usually end up throwing something at my television or just breaking it entirely and then going to buy a new one for the next week.
So you hate legacy media is what I'm understanding.
I hate legacy media. Thank you for putting the words into my mouth, but that was correct. Yes. So I hate the Weather Channel. I hate meteorologists because they remind me of fantasy analysts that aren't as smart as me.
Do you hate Nick Take Jake?
Nick Take Jake, my God, is that a Johnny Manziel jersey? You want me to spin around one more time, dude? Come on.
Feels like dancing tonight.
What do you think this is? A joke? You think this is Amari Cooper? No, I've been around. I've been in this game for a while.
Now these people, they think that we're sheep when we're lions. We've got a lion mentality.
That's what we do. That's what this analysis needs. That's what this industry needs. A fantasy analyst that tells it like it is.
Yeah. No
doesn't
bullshit.
Ignore their fans in the comments like Josh Larkey.
No more bullshit. That's what we're going for the rest of the year. No more bullshit.
No more.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, this has been the greatest podcast in entertainment history. I want to thank you once again for showing up. I want to thank the start. I want to thank the chat for blowing up. I want to thank the Patriots for throwing up. And I want to thank another fantasy show, Player Profiler, and Dynasty Degens for blowing up. That'll do it for another week. We'll catch you guys. Get after it.
I'm so money and everything bring a chain of love, yeah. In the morning when I rise, bring it
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.